TikTok and modify your vibe tonight. Yo, yo. You have to learn to change your fire to light. Yo, hey. We don't have no space or time for fight, alright. Yo, yo. We just have love, no wrong or right, yo. No wrong or right, yo. Yes, we can come together in the sandbox. Oh, yes, we can make new friends in the sandbox. Oh, leave all the problem then and mind what you say. Brethren, build your journey and go on your own way. This is a chill place, yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't have to worry, no, no, no. This is your own base, yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't have to scurry, oh. We say, hey, hey. We are gonna make this crew unite tonight. We say, yo, yo. Inside we get your head on right. For me in a bad mind. Me not have no space or time to fight, yo. Me just act up, no wrong or right, yo. No wrong or right, yo. Come on, come on. Oh, come together. We need some peace. Oh, just to enter. No time to waste. Right to center. Be positive. Oh, you know it's better. Yes, we can come together in the sandbox. Oh, yes, we can make new friends in the sandbox. Oh, leave all the problem then and mind what you say. Brethren, build your journey and go on your own way. Hey, hey. TikTok and modify your vibe tonight. Yo, yo. You have to learn to change your fire to light. Yo, hey. We don't have no space or time for fight, alright. Yo, yo. We just have love, no wrong or right, yo. No wrong or right, yo.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Sandbox stream. We have an amazing stream lined up for you today. Have you been interested in building games in the Sandbox? Then definitely make sure to be here and tune in and take part in our latest game jams. And I'm joined by the amazing Corentin, also known as Coco over on Discord in case you're wondering, to go over the latest game jam that we have for you guys.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining. As usual, very excited to unveil the theme for this game jam. We've announced it a week back. It was advertised during the town hall that we had a game jam more focused on gameplays while there's still the city build ongoing. So it's kind of a new format. You'll see it will be a bit shorter than usual and really focus on the gameplay. I hope you like it. Let's dig into the details.
Okay, here's our key
so
dates.
Here you can see the key dates. I think the main one for you to get are both the registration closing next week. So if you haven't registered yet, you can still buy next week. You can do that right after the AMA, of course. And the submission deadline is in 2 weeks, when usually it will be 3 weeks to create. This time it's a bit shorter. The idea is really to focus on a few gameplay. I'll explain that later. And yeah, we can go to the next slide. So here are the reward splits. As usual, top 10 rewards plus some honorable mentions. A mix of fan, land, calories. I think you're now used to it. I'll let you see that, but it's not pretty different from the past game jam, so pretty straightforward. And we can move to the the theme.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, you wanted to make a drum roll.
Well, last time you were like, I did it too fast last time, and you were like, oh wait, and I was like, no, I did do a drum roll, and then I clicked it because you were like next slide, and then it was like, oh, it's the theme. No drum roll.
You want to start?
Yeah,
No.
let's do it. Quickly,
Okay,
go
let's do it
back.
again.
Yeah, ready? Do and the theme reveal. Drum roll. If anybody can hear it.
Wow.
There we go.
There we go. So the idea here is to focus on, and I don't know if you saw, there was some Medium article released in the past weeks using the latest open level game templates that were released in the Game Maker. Four of them: Crash Game, Tag Game, Trivia Game, Idle Clicker. So the idea for this Quick Loop Game Jam is to focus on one of these game types. I strongly advise to use one of those templates. They're free, they're available on the Game Maker. And the idea is really to take those templates as a base and move the game forward, dress them, and really take this as a base. Internally, I got 2 weeks to create. The idea is really to focus on the gameplay, so the main mechanics of one of those four gameplay, and put them to the next level.
Yeah, and I will, before we move on to the next slide, I will say the tag game for the template, we didn't realize, but on a live stream, I played one of the tag games that was using this template, but we managed to break on stream, and we did let Cyber Dragon and the team know, and so they've gone and fixed it, which was absolutely great. So definitely make sure you're testing those, but that tag one is a lot of fun. I am curious about the others though, like the Crash game. That sounds very interesting.
The templates themselves are already pretty advanced, so that's why also I recommend to use them. Tomorrow, you can check on the event, but there's gonna be a workshop by Cyber Dragon. He's the one that made those templates, so he'll be the perfect guy to explain them to you and give you some advice. So that's the best advice I can give when you start a game jam, is to go to the workshop. There'll be of course, it will be recorded, and we'll share the link with you by tomorrow or Friday, with the link also to the same in case you missed some point.
Awesome. You want me to move on?
Yes.
There we go.
A little reminder, we usually have a lot of questions regarding the what you can do with the assets. So here's what you can and cannot do. I will emphasize that there are now a lot of asset libraries available in the Game Maker. It's really useful. I don't know if you remember in the past when we didn't have those. It was tricky to give you access to assets. We needed to use the wish list, and it was tricky, and it was not really it was really great. And now we have those libraries, a big step forwards, giving you some free assets to use. As I said, you don't have 2 weeks to create, and we're really focusing on gameplay, so those assets are already done. It's a real plus for you to move forward quickly and really focus on the gameplay aspect, not really worrying about the creating asset that can take a long time. So yeah, that's what I want to emphasize.
Awesome.
Here.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you've included what you can't do with assets, because a lot of people do end up creating assets that violate copyright, which obviously per our terms and conditions, you can't do that. You can be inspired by, as mentioned here, but those those asset libraries now, the dynamic libraries, a whole range of assets you can now use.
And you also have some IP assets you can use from the dynamic library, so don't hesitate to use those if it's possible. And I think we're done with the assets.
Yeah.
Now, up as usual, when you submit, you shouldn't make any modification before the voting period is ended, which will be July 3rd. It includes any change in the game maker and also publication of the game on the map. Pay attention to that. You can and you should, again, really good advice here, you should make a copy to avoid the issue. So before the submission is over, just make a copy, and usually don't hesitate to make a lot of copies of your game. That way, if you have a problem with one of the copies, you still have a backup somewhere. Don't hesitate to make a lot of copies, and use one copy if you want to publish the game before the voting is ended, or if you want to keep modify the game. If you like, you've done a great game in 2 weeks and you don't want to stop working on it and you want to put it to the next level and you don't want to wait the voting phase to be over, then just make a copy before submission is over so you can keep working on it and you don't have to stop.
Yeah, and it's very...
That will avoid any trouble.
Yeah, it is very simple as well to create a copy of your experience. Just when you are in your workspace area, you just click and it's like 2 little pieces of paper over it, and it's called duplicate on there. And yeah, you just duplicate it and it's a duplicate copy of it. But yeah, definitely make sure you're doing that. As Corentin says, it's best to just do it anyway, even if you're not going to want to work on it. It's just always good to have that copy, just in case.
And once once the voting period is over, you need to publish your experience page. So we're requiring you to have the experience page ready when you submit, but not having it published. But so after the voting is over, publish your page. This way, you'll be able to publish your experience on it, especially land winners, so top 10 for this game jam will receive a land. So we expect you to publish, of course, your experience on it, and also we are able to host some. So you need the experience page to be ready by this date, so we can publish your experiences in game time.
Awesome. Oh, there we go. Somebody asked this question as well earlier, so it's mentioned right here.
Here is the GM version you need to use, open 11.10. Usually the rule states it's the game version that is the day of the kickoff, which is today. So unless there's a new version today, we already had the case. That was why I'm saying it. Now we had the case twice recently. There shouldn't be any release today, but if there can happen sometime, then I'll make I'll in the email you will receive tomorrow or Friday. I'll tell you if there's a change. So if you see a release today, don't panic. I'll clarify the rules. But for now, that's the version that is available in the launcher. It should be the one that stays for a while now. So, and if there's a change after today, so starting tomorrow, you should use this version. I'll try to have you also in the email a link that you can use in case there is a false update on your launcher. You should be able to disable the automatic update on your launcher to avoid that. But if it happens, I'll get you a link so you can restore the previous version.
Awesome. And I was going to say, ask you whether the emails included the version link for that, which I think a lot of people would be very grateful and happy about to learn that if there is ever a change that version will be included, so they can always go back to it. I, for one, I don't know about you, Quentin, but I, for one, have so many different versions, like folders of old versions of Game Maker on my computer, just in case. Just in case.
Well, less now, but at some point, I remember to have like 3 versions of 0.8, 0.9, and yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's getting better with the game launcher. I don't need that unless for the game jam, of course. But
I still have a version of 0.6.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing with that?
It's clogging up my computer space.
In case you want to play old games,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
published anymore.
just in case I have that craving for just nostalgia, OG Sandbox.
You want to play Dracula's Castle all over again?
Yeah, yeah, that 2 to 3 hours game. I've
I get
clicked
it.
over, yeah.
All right, here you can find the voting criteria that will be used for those game jam turnaround gameplay. As usual, we're really focusing on the IP, the game design, level design, and the playability. That's the main factors. And to be truly transparent, it's less about how great it looks. It's always cool to have great assets and to have a cool environment, but we're really expecting you there to focus on the gameplay, which is different from the city builder we're doing, which are really focusing on the terraforming. But those game jam are really focused on the gameplay, so that's why the criteria are mostly around it.
Yeah, and please correct me if I'm wrong as well, but wow factor also not just for like amazing assets or like the game, but just like if somebody's included something that's just so different that might not fit into the other criteria, that you're just like, oh wow, that really impressed me, regardless of whether it's an asset, that also falls into that wow factor element.
Yeah, and it's talking about what factor. Maybe it's not clear what is it, but each judge has 2 points they can give and in personal like ID. If they find something really great,
Yeah.
outstanding, they have 2 points that they can attribute to any experience as a bonus, not following any criteria. Um,
Yeah, I think
that's what
that's
it is.
probably why it's also just worth, for people wondering why wow factor's only worth 2, is because it is a lot more of like a personal thing that shouldn't weight an entire criteria. It's more like, oh wow, that really went above and beyond.
Yeah, we were trying to have the judges, for the force criteria, we're really trying to be objective here, trying to follow clear rules. We're usually discussing between judging um, to give each our opinion and trying to find if something um, on a game matches the criteria and is okay. So that's why we have the 4 factor is kind of the subjective part because we know you cannot be entirely, objective when you judge something. So that's where we put the subjective part and really trying on the other one to be as much objective as possible
Yeah.
and still have a personal appreciation regarding the each judge's responsibility.
I feel like that's clarified a lot for people that might be wondering about the voting criteria stuff. Also, I think all of that can be found over in the educational Gitbook to do with
Yeah, of
game
course.
jams as well. It goes a lot more in detail over what each of those criteria is. I don't have a link for the Git, but I should definitely get a link for that part of the Gitbook. But at some point, I'll make sure that gets linked on a future stream or somewhere for those that are wondering.
It's in the event page of the game jam
Oh,
or the article.
perfect.
At the bottom, you can find some links to go to the Gitbook. There are some rules in the Gitbook, and also the voting criteria are of course much more explained there.
Awesome. There we go. I've also linked to the event page for the game jam as well.
Thanks.
And moving on, I guess we're doing the
So
Singapore city builder now.
now I just wanted to give you a reminder, since there was no AMA regarding this city builder, we launched it. I think it's nearly 2 weeks now, but there's still plenty of time to create for this game jam. So the city builder around Singapore. For those who know the concept, this one is much more focused on terraforming. We're creating existing spaces, building, and landmark. In the past, we did Paris, Tokyo, and New York. So that's the latest one. There's also some specific price pool if you're based in Southeast Asia. So don't miss it if you're more in terraforming. You can also participate in both. It's possible if you have enough time. Um, just wanted to put a reminder in case you missed it, and you still have 14 days, so plenty of time to make a submission. That's also another thing that's not directly related to the game jam. I wanted to make some advertising about that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the DAO, so Sandbox DAO. But if you are, they launched RFP a few weeks ago to create an educational experience in the sandbox about the DAO. And they didn't have much, I think, proposal there. So as I know there are a lot of talented builders here with the Game Jam, I just wanted to show it exists. So don't hesitate to make a proposal, and maybe you'll get selected, and maybe you'll get paid to create an experience for the DAO. So don't hesitate to give some proposal.
Yeah, I've also linked it
yeah.
as well. Yeah, in the chat.
Well, thanks. I think you still have a few days to make a proposal. So don't hesitate to make one.
Okay.
And I think we're done.
Yeah, now it's the AMA.
I talked a lot.
No, I saw. No. You're good. You're good. I feel like we always allocate like an hour, and so I felt we're still good. So we have had a few questions. We also had some people come in later that didn't see the theme. So I am just going to quickly just loop back to where it mentions the theme, but we can go over that after we go through some of these questions, which is the first question came from Versant, which is, can we use mechanics other than these? So based off of the theme, what exactly are you expecting? So we have two kind of questions related, which is, can we use other mechanics? And then somebody else also asked, what does quick loop mean? Does it refer to a fast game that ends quickly, or it applies to longer games like an hour-long session that features fast-paced gameplay loops within it?
A lot of questions there.
Should we break it? Should we break it down? Firstly, can people do other mechanics?
Yeah. So no, you need to focus on one of those four mechanics.
Okay.
I think the best way to do it is really to start from the templates. You don't have to if you feel that you're more comfortable not using it. At least have a look, maybe the template. Have a look at the workshop tomorrow by Cyber Dragon to understand the mechanics well. And yeah, you need to use one of those mechanics.
Okay.
And the quick loop thing, so basically the quick loop, this was the name of the game jam, which is not the theme, was referring to two things. The first thing is that this game jam is a bit shorter, and it's kind of a shorter format than we did for the 3 weeks game jam. It's only 2 weeks, and also referring to those games being usually loop game, like it's with high replayability, so you start all over again. Usually those games, it's short session, a few minutes. So the idea is playing game that having loop and quick loop. Then that's how it came.
And
maybe not the best title, but that was the idea behind it.
So I feel like a lot of people will know what trivia game means, and I know you've mentioned that people can go and look at the templates, and obviously with templates being specifically made for I don't know whether they're specifically made for this game jam or that the game jam has catered towards these templates being made. But either way, I feel like trivia is pretty obvious what that refers to. The tag is just, playing tag. You get one person. We've played it on stream for those that saw it. But for those that might not know, what is a crash game? What does that entail? Could you elaborate slightly more for the people that are here what that means?
Yeah, of course. So firstly, regarding the old template and game jams, yeah, the templates were are already in the game maker, but now we are kind of want to put those mechanics forward. There was not that many games created with them, so that's how we got the idea of since we were making a city builder and focusing on terraforming, we were like, okay, maybe we should do something most on the gameplay on the other side, and we had those 4 templates that were released, and we wanted to communicate about this. We said, okay, we should make a game jam around them to push. Um, First thing, and I already said it, but go see the workshop tomorrow by Peter. Regarding the crash, so there was we got the tag game is pretty, so basically tagging players, so it's like asymmetrical gameplay, one tagger, other player being chased off by the tagger. Trivia game is you got question, you need to answer the question good. Idle clicker is pretty self-explanatory. I can go back if needed. The crash game is usually it's you got like curves going up and down. It's kind of a playing with the crypto basically, and you
Oh,
like
yeah. No,
and
I know.
it goes up and down, and you need to it's basically you can do like a exactly like a crypto trading, like you need to sell when it's up and buy when it's down, and you just don't know when it will happen. That's pretty simple. As I said, all those gameplay are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Um, if you're not sure, if you don't know, don't hesitate to check the workshop. I think I said it like already 10 times, but um,
Yeah,
that's the
sorry,
best way
I
to have.
just realized what Crash Games is, and yeah, I hate Crash Games. Only because I'm a gambling addict. We've talked about it before. So when I saw
Oh,
Peter Cyber Dragons, oh yeah, no, it's not. I've spoke about it. It's completely everybody knows. But I got very addicted to a website called Ether Crash. So when Cyber Dragon made his Crash game, and I was like, oh, you made Ether Crash. A little bit of PTSD came out. So it's play responsibly, people. Play responsibly. But we do have a question, which is, do they have to use these templates? So do these templates have to be used? And that's by Nancy Lill.
and you don't have to use the templates. You can start your experience from scratch if you're more comfortable, or if you feel that you don't need to go with the templates. I should advise to at least have a look at the templates and of course the workshop to understand how you can make the mechanic more effectively. For those who are using the rule system, I don't know if you saw, but Cyber Dragon has started um, a tool where you can basically just make a copy of the whole rules from the templates and pass them into your experience. He'll showcase that tomorrow, so don't need to go there. So if you don't have to use the template, but you can use the template and also this tool. So to answer the question, you don't have to. It's advised to have a look at it, and
Okay.
they have to be following the. If you don't use the template, it's fine, but the game should be one of those 4 gameplay, and it should be in the description when you submit. In the description of the game, you should mention which type of game you chose. So we're sure to have the right reference to just the game.
We have Rex Roach, who is asking for the Singapore City Game Jam, is it also 0.11.10?
So the city builder got different rules regarding the version of the game maker. For the city builder, you can use the latest version even if there are updates during the time of the city builder. So currently the latest version is 0.11.10, so you can use that. And if there is an update before, so I think it's June 18, you can use the latest version. Since there's no gameplay in those contest city builder, usually having another version doesn't affect the experience. So
Yeah.
you can totally use the latest. So for now, yes, you can use the open 11.10, and if there's another, you might be able to use it. Which is not the case for this Quick Game Jam, where you should stick to open event content, because updating the game might first break it. And since we're gonna use open event content to test the games, if you update, 2 major risks are: first, we don't see the experience and you don't get judged, so you're disqualified. Second risk is that even if we see it and we play it, it might be buggy and not work as you tested it in Open 11. I don't know which version, and in Open 11.10 it might be broken.
There we go. So for normal game jams, you have to stick to the version that it is because that's what we all judge on. For the city builders, you can basically upload on any version because there's not really meant to be game mechanics. It's terraforming, so updating shouldn't impact anything. So when the judges test, there shouldn't be an impact on anything there. Vicky Kuma's mentioning here about regarding IP, they read online that Merlion or I don't know how to say this, Merlion is copyrighted, and I looked it up, and yes, it is. So definitely, so sometimes with country logos, and certain buildings, if you don't know, the Eiffel Tower itself is a trademarked building, which means you cannot make a duplicate version of that. Apparently, I mean, I see figures of the Eiffel Tower everywhere, so I'm not sure how much that stands, but either way, definitely look into these things and avoid making or creating anything that would break copyright, and because it does get checked. As the person who usually checks every asset in the games, they get checked. And for the person asking, what is a tag game? So a tag game is a little bit like you know, where you're chasing somebody and you have to like tap them or catch them, or in that kind of respects, and then they are then maybe on your team, or they are now it. So there's ones where you tag someone and then they become it, and they are then the tagger that has to go around, or there are ones where it's like an infection mode. So you tag somebody and they join your team. And they have also asked, would like American football inspired game count as a tag game, like tag football? I would say that probably would, because you've got to go and tap someone, but I'm gonna leave that to you to answer.
Sorry, you lost me a little bit.
So would an American football inspired game count as a tag game?
Well, so the main mechanic we are expecting for a tag game is that you need to have two teams, a tagger and a runner team, and the tagger needs to catch or tap other players. So if by I'm not really the most familiar man with American football since I'm French.
I think so. Yeah.
But if I'm not sure how you like to make it a tag game. If like if it's just like a dress, like you in a American football stadium, and one team is supposed to pass and get the ball to the other end of the field, and you got one guy who is supposed to stop them, and by stopping them, it means tag them, catch them, and touch them. That could be a possibility. So yeah, there are ways of making the tag game dressed as American football. Just be sure that we got this asymmetrical gameplay. So one team is runner, another team is tag, and tagger needs to catch the runner. And if you manage to make something with American football, then it's fine.
We have two other questions that I've seen. These are all, a lot of these questions are, is this game one of these? So I feel like we're gonna have a lot of these. So is Flappy Birds a Crash game? And I would say yes, but what would you say? Because it isn't. To me, it's not an idle. It could be. I would say maybe Flappy Birds would also be an idle clicker.
I'm not say it's a Crash game. So to go back to a Crash game, the idea that you have a curve going on itself, so in a randomized way, and it's mostly about clicking at the right time to sell or buy and make profit out of it. On my head, yeah, Flappy Bird is most an obstacle.
Yeah.
Run.
Okay. I've just looked up the actual definition of what a crash game would be to make this so much easier for everyone. So a crash game is, as Corentin said, where you're wagering on an outcome of a rapidly changing multiple value scenario. So you don't know what this value is going to be, and you're basically wagering, I think it's going to be this, I think it's going to be that, and you could have a way to cash out before it reaches a certain outcome, but you don't know whether you'll cash out at that outcome. It could crash out at 2, it could crash out at 100. You don't know. You're wagering on where you think that's going to be. And I guess an idle clicker is where there's minimal interaction. So yeah, Flappy Birds wouldn't even be an idle clicker because you've got to interact a lot.
Yeah, so idle clicker is I mean, it's maybe the best way to know what it is to play once. I don't know, maybe I think one of the most known is cookie clicker. Basically, an idle clicker, you just need to have a repetitive single interaction, which is to click and to go through the game with it, and then you'll get some resources, and then with the resources you can buy upgrades to make more resources. So basically, it's a kind of a resource management game. Really simple. And the most important interaction is like the click one. So I guess the best reference for that would be to play Cookie Clicker.
Yeah, somebody suggested Cookie Clicker.
What I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do is that in the article, we're gonna make an update up today. I will put maybe some precise link to the game draw definition, and as well as some examples, concrete examples, to help you get what are all those gameplay. Because I guess even if they seem pretty well known and maybe you thought easy to understand, I guess it's great to have definition examples to be sure. And if you have a doubt, of course, you can ask today, of course, and on the Discord. Be happy to help.
Yeah, and somebody asked earlier, and I don't know whether it was when we'd answered it, but they asked whether the templates have to be used or something similar. It was stated something, you can make your own as long as it meets those game criteria, so you don't need to use the templates. The templates could just be very helpful for you to use. Somebody says that they can't find the trivia game template, so maybe note that down to ask earlier. Earlier, go back in time and ask someone later to ask someone where that might be. Does it have to be I guess it doesn't have to be a solo player because lots of these go for multiplayer, but can people choose for it to be solo or multi, or are you requiring it to be multiplayer?
Well, there's no requirements.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for tag games, if you manage to make it single player, then okay. But I think having it multiplayer is easier. Some games, like how they are. I think they are more logically going to one single or multiplayer. So I'd say tag game mostly multiplayer. Crash game, I guess, can be both single or multi. Trivia game can be both single or multi. And idle clicker has it more as a single player, but I guess there are ways to make it multiplayer. So basically, you can choose between single and multi.
Yeah.
I feel tag game, if you make one, I think multiplayer makes more sense. But there's no restriction.
Yeah, I'd agree with all of those. Tag makes sense as a multiplayer. Idle makes sense as a single player. Trivia can be both. Crash could be both. Somebody asked, are they allowed to start creating right now? I think so.
Yeah, you can start right now.
Also play games. I'm gonna answer this one. They said it would be cool if Game Maker had a demo next to each template so they can test it with. Oh wait, no, never mind. I read that wrong last time. Yeah, having a demo next to each template so they can test it without creating an experience. So they basically like to be able to demo the templates without having to actually go in.
What you can do is just start make creator experience out of the template, and you just test it right away. You can
Yeah.
play and test an experience you created. So I understand it's a step more than what you're saying, and I guess it would be easier to, of course, have a demo. But if you want a demo of a template, you just create from the template, publish, and test it.
And we got a lot more questions asking about multi and solo, so luckily we've answered those. Regarding the IP, trademark but not copyright. Trademarked, if it's trademarked, you still shouldn't be, like, it still breaks the terms of use, so just avoid that. Should it be based on the 4 sample picks? No, yes, so Vox Machina, it should be based off of what is mentioned here. So you don't need to use the templates, but it does need to be based off of these particular ones. Rex Roach says the deadline at the website is different. Is the deadline the 18th or 17th?
We come back to the dates. So one can see all the.
Oh, that's right at
dates.
the start, isn't it? Yep. There we go. Yeah, deadline is the 18th. At 5 p.m. So, Rex Roach, where's it?
Here.
Where's it different?
All the dates here.
Yeah, they just said that it's on the website. It's stated differently.
Oh.
So I'm just. Oh yeah. On the event page it says June 17th, and a different time as well. Good catch, Rex Roach, on that.
Well, thanks for pointing that out.
That's a good catch.
We'll follow with what is on the event. So sorry for the mistake.
Okay, so we'll go by
17th.
the 7th. So we'll go by the 17th. So ignore what we've said here, and we'll go by the 17th. So go by what it says on the actual event then.
Yeah. If you in any doubts, what make flow is what on the event page / Medium article. Even if it's not a Medium, it's a blog article on the Sandbox website. But if you have any doubt, that's what we're gonna use. And yeah, sorry for the mistake. Good catch.
And now they're asking, no, the 18th is good. Can it be the 18th? A lot of people are saying 18's a nice number. Sorry, guys. If it's on the event page.
No, we go to 17. This way we have 2 different states, for the this game jam and for the Singapore. So better if you're participating to both of them.
Yeah. And Vicky Kumara, I did see this question and I did forget to answer it, so I'm glad I scrolled up, or maybe you added it again. I already feel like this is a no. Can they submit the same experience for this game jam and for the Singapore City Builder one?
Well,
I think
it
no.
might be possible in terms of rules, because the main rule is you can't what you need to submit an experience that you started after the kickoff. So if you haven't started your experience for Singapore and you started now, I guess it might be possible, but don't do it. Because it's 2 really different contests. One is really based on the gameplay. The other one is based on the terraforming. So if you terraform a game and based on Singapore, and you add some gameplay in it, it might get the judge confused from the city builder and from the quick loop. So I wouldn't advise to do it at all. So
I would say what they could do is they could probably, if they've already built like the Singapore one, if they've already built that out and they've been like, we've terraformed it, it's great. I guess what they could do is do another one but add game mechanics to a second one, but not use the exact same for the same one, because then we also go into the territory of you could get rewarded for both. And that sort of goes against, like, you're submitting the same thing. Like, even for VoxEdit contests, we don't allow people to submit the same asset, or even close to the same asset. If somebody had submitted one item, and all they did was recolor it for the next contest, they ain't getting into the final voting, because they've not made a new asset. They've not made something new for that contest. So I would...
The main rule is you need to make a new experience starting today. So you can't use any materials you worked before. So which is why if you already started Singapore Game Jam, you cannot do that. But in any case, yeah, even if it might be possible to submit photos, but don't do that. I think it's not a good way to perform well in both contests.
Yeah. And Alan Joyce, it can be single or multiplayer. There's no restrictions. Some of the themes make more sense. So we went over that earlier. Like, Idle makes sense as a single player. Tag game makes more sense as a multiplayer. Crash and Trivia could be either. And as Corentin mentioned earlier, they will be listing like types of games that you could refer to that meet each of those themes. So if you are unsure what a crash game is, there will be examples of those. If you're unsure what a tag game is, there will be some examples of those. But I feel like tag is like trivia is the simplest. It's a quiz game. And I'm trying to see if we got any more questions here. If anybody else has a question, or if I haven't answered your question, put it in now, because I am just scrolling through. So let's do that real quick. Yeah, so Vicky Kuma, for the city jams, it is literally just terraforming. You don't need any logic, any game logic. You're not even being judged on that. Like, a judge isn't even going to judge that. They're not thinking about game mechanical logic. That's not a judging criteria for those city builders. You are being judged on a whole different set of criteria for those. Just to clarify, isn't the title Crash Game a kind of gambling game? Yes, it is. For example, there is a card face down on the floor, and you bet on whether the next card is high or low. Yes, by Pheasant, that is literally it. That is what it is. It is a gambling on whether a certain outcome is going to be that over an outcome that could be higher or lower. 100%. And clicker is something like Tycoon. Yeah, an idle clicker is, if you want a sandbox version, Miss Donut. Miss Donut becomes an idle clicker later, like a Tycoon idle clicker. I think that's a good one to reference.
Yeah, so I'm putting some more examples on the
yeah. So I
for the idle clicker, the one that comes to mind is Cookie Clicker. For Crash Game, I don't have an example, but I think you can find some easily on the web. Most of them are used by gambling platform, but you can also have some. We're not gambling sound here, of course. Trivia games, same. You can find a lot of them. I try to find one or two good examples. I don't have any coming to mind, but it should be too hard to find some.
Yeah, I'm sure a quick Google as well will do those. And just for people who are wondering, because someone was just like jumping between the Singapore City Builder and the Quick Loop Game Jam, we have been mentioning both because the City Builders don't get their own AMAs. So at the end, we did briefly mention the City Builder, which is why we have touched on it. And because Vicky Kuma did ask, can they submit the same game jam for this as the other one, so that's why we've gone on it. So city builders are terraforming, normal game jams are logic and all of that, which obviously, given using these templates, is going to be a lot of logic. Right, before we finish up here, are there any other questions? Corentin, is there anything else you want to sort of quickly go over for people? Any wisdom parting words?
I think I already given a lot of advice. As usual, we still you can still get us on the Discord if you have a question or doubt. Um, Go check the workshop. It will, I think, clear a lot of question regarding what are those game times, and how you should work on them with the game maker. Um, I think it's clear a lot of things. Um, so yeah, that would be my parting word.
Awesome. And somebody also did mention, why is the prize pool smaller? I believe it's because it's a shorter contest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The idea is to have that kind of shorter with no IP, really focusing on the gameplay. Don't worry, there's gonna be other bigger game jam incoming, with bigger prize pool and with IPs during other seasons. So the you'll see other game jam that like we used to do. This one is a bit different because the idea is really to make something shorter, really based on the mechanic. The really idea is like you choose a template and you work on it and go straight forward from this. Um, so take shorter time to make down past game jam we did.
Awesome. Right. Thank you so much, Corentin. I know this lasted way longer than we expected, but we had a lot of...
I'm really happy to have
Yeah.
a lot of. I mean, it means that, and I hope it's gonna be a lot of participation, and I hope we've clarified a lot of things. So I'm happy to see all the questions we've answered. Hopefully, it will help also other creators that couldn't participate the AMA. So thanks for the questions. I think, of course, it helped you, but it also helps other people. So thanks for asking. Thanks for joining. And don't hesitate to reach out on Discord if anything.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. As always, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the metaverse. We will see you later. Alex Flores will be streaming this evening, also in the Game Maker, so feel free to ask him any and all of your Game Maker related questions too, and stay tuned for Cyber Dragon's Workshop coming to you soon. Bye, everyone.